In gratitude that I had already planned for us to have a time of meditation, of letting the sound and silence wash over us. I invite you into your own inner journey. Of what cracks your heart open. And we'll just share the quiet as we listen to Pete's beautiful, gentle piano. As we ground with the ebb and flow of our breath. As we feel ourselves held in the arms of love. As we hold each other in arms of love. Peace, be still. Peace, be still and know that you are held in the arms of God, covered in the blanket of love, that you are part of the fabric of that blanket. And that God's love cannot do without you. And then in love and gratitude, coming fully back into your awareness of this space, the space that you are in. And so it is. One of my favorite aspects of the Unity classes that I've taken with Reverend Kelly Isla is that she frames each class with this statement: question everything. She wants us to treat what she offers, question that, but also how we receive it, to question that, and to open our hearts and our minds with curiosity to see what lands with us so much that it breaks open our hearts so that our tear ducts overflow, to notice what sharpens our mind so much with anger that leads us to say, I need to take a stand against this and for something else, but to experiment, to see what we're learning, to see our path of growth with curiosity, to see how our lived experience helps us to see our path unfolding, and then to be open to growing past our initial reaction. I've really come to appreciate our shared unity path, because that feels so foundational to who we say we are. That we're on that path of growth, that we have a spiritual curiosity, that we continue to learn and to grow together. And so a couple of weeks ago, I invited you to come along with me for a ride, to see from our conversation on the International Day of Peace through my talk last week about Blessed are you who mourn, to pray with the Beatitudes. Even people who are not very familiar with the Bible have heard the blessed bees in some way. They're kind of out there in the world and have been for centuries now. And so to approach them, for me, with a sense of curiosity about what is mine to learn from a book that I am finding both beautiful and challenging, The Beatitudes of Peace, and the companion, The Gospels of Peace by Father John Deere. D-E-A-R, by the way, not the John Deere tractor guy. Just in case you were really wondering, what path was I going down here? So to see these Beatitudes as a way of being empowered to live in nonviolence, like Jesus, our way shower, I invite you to just don't take my word for it. Question what I am sharing with you and try it on for size. See how it lands, or not. But here we go. In case you weren't here last week, here's a little bit, or actually if you, like with complete honesty, as somebody shared with such grace and humor, I don't always remember what your messages were about. I don't always, so it's okay if you don't. They're almost always about how do we show up as love, what's at stake in that, what is mine to do. But anyways, here's a little bit of a framing from last week to bring you right up into today. So from the Gospel of Peace, John Deere writes, to understand the Beatitudes, it's helpful to remember they were originally spoken in the ancient language of Aramaic, not in Greek or Hebrew. Instead of beginning with the familiar phrase, blessed are you, they could each begin with the phrase, arise and walk forth. Imagine how empowering Jesus' Beatitudes would be if, in fact, they each began, arise, get up, get moving, start walking, walk forth and do something. You who are poor, mournful, meek, hungering for justice, merciful, peacemaking, and persecuted. This nonviolent Jesus, he writes, empowers both the oppressed rural Galileans and us to get up, to get moving, to live out their and our calling as the children of God, the sons and daughters of the God of peace, to live as nonviolent campaigners, commissioned to disarm everyone and prepare for God's reign of peace on earth. Those are challenging words to my heart, to feel my own commission to disarm the violence of my self-talk, the violence of my talk about them, and to see myself embodying those blessings. So here are the Beatitudes as I ended them last week. So I invite you to both receive the blessing and to hear the reminder that we're called to embody them. And then I'll talk more about today's particular beatitude. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and after he had sat down, his disciples came to him and he began to teach them, saying, "Arise, get up, start walking. Walk forth and do something, you who remember that God is your source. You, poor in spirit, live knowing the kingdom of heaven is here. Arise, get up, start walking. Walk forth and do something, you who weep and mourn. Live as compassion and comfort of God. Arise, get up, get moving, start walking. Walk forth and do something, you who are meek. Live knowing the reign of God is now. Arise, get up, get moving, get walking. Walk forth and do something, you who hunger and thirst for justice and peace and are merciful. Work for God's justice and mercy now. Arise, get up, start walking. Walk forth and do something, you who embody the pure heart of God. Live knowing you are the hands and heart and eyes of God. Arise, get up, get moving, start walking, and do something, you who are peacemakers. Your sacred presence stands up, speaks up, works for peace in all ways, for you are the beloved sons and daughters of the God of peace. As I mentioned, my own hopefully prayerful working with those Beatitudes, exploring the passages that make my heart sing or that I stumble on in how challenging it feels to live it, is the ongoing work that I'm doing over these weeks. So this morning, I want to focus on a passage that is the passage that pulled at me, sometimes tugging, sometimes gently, and that is, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Arise, get up, start walking. Walk forth, you who embody the pure heart of God. Live knowing you are the heart of God. In the Beatitudes of Peace, John Deere writes, and this is a little bit of a long passage, but bear with me because there's so much here. Purity of heart remains one of the most elusive goals and clearest demands of the Sermon on the Mount. And just as a reminder, one of the things I shared last week is that Gandhi read the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount every day as part of his spiritual practice. And he loved that Jesus taught this, even though he knew he could never be a Christian because too many Christians didn't live it. Every day for over 40 years. There's a lot to work with here. Jesus points us, John Deere writes, to an inner innocence and childlike wonder that keeps us open to the presence of God. This beatitude alone is worth a lifetime of study, a lifelong spiritual search. When Jesus calls us to purity of heart, he's calling us to an inner journey toward an ever-widening heart of love and compassion for all others, all of creation, and the Creator. Purity of heart is a process, a way of life, not a static goal. When understood this way, this beatitude becomes an exciting invitation to an inner journey of love, compassion, nonviolence, and peace. There are aspects of what I'm reading as I read this book and work with his words and how they land with me, because it's from a very Catholic social teaching perspective. There are aspects that are beautiful, and there are aspects that I've bumped up against in how I see myself now. And yet he says something that is so unity. All the world's evils and all that is good come from within us. We are not separate from what we see. We are co-creators of all that we see in our reality. The truth is the truth is the truth. And he insists on another part that I have found challenging, is he is insistent in the way that a prophet is insistent that this is the path. You must daily exercise your heart. You must stretch and open and strengthen your heart, so that that goodness and kindness and love and compassion and nonviolence, justice, mercy, and peace, over and over he repeats those words that become like a litany. We strengthen our hearts for goodness, for kindness, for love, for compassion, nonviolence, justice, mercy, and peace, because our hearts belong to God. Our hearts cannot be separated from that great mystery of love of which we are a part. John Deere challenges us to say that we people who care about justice, mercy, and peace need to dig deep into our own hearts, to explore the roots of violence within us in pursuit of inner disarmament. Inner disarmament. Through our pursuit and practice of inner peace, inner nonviolence, and inner purity of heart, we discover how deep the roots of violence go in our own hearts. It is a lifetime of inner work that we're invited to. How do we find that inner peace? How do we get to the root of violence in our own hearts? That's the piece that I stumbled on this week. It is so easy for me to point my eyes outward to the violence, the destruction, the cruelty that I read about in the news. I read about it and my heart is filled with violence, rage and anger. It is so easy to point my finger outward in that news cycle that is worse every day, seemingly, and to point to those people as the evil, to those people as the culprits, and also then to feel powerless to change the course of our culture of violence. But I have to also turn that finger pointed towards me. I know that I am not participating actively in cruel actions. I know that about myself. I mean, I cry when we sing a song. I have come to not want to kill a fly in my house, even though I don't love them buzzing around. So it would be easy for me to say, good job, Bridge, you've got that one. But I stumble on those words, remembering that having a pure heart, a heart of peace, a heart of love, a heart of non-violence, of compassion and mercy, a heart that practices what I preach, is a lifetime pursuit. I cannot just check a box and say, phew, my heart is pure, I'm good to go. So here's the paradox that I've been sitting with. We are pure of heart. We are created in the image and likeness of God. Full stop. We are pure of heart. We are fully made from that divine love and energy that enlivens all of creation, and we cannot be separated from what and who we truly are. We are pure of heart. And we are fully human. I have often said up here, I do not love it when my humanity shows. I much prefer showing you the shine of love that I hope that you feel when I'm up here laying my soul bare every week. I don't love it when my humanity shows. But we are also fully human. We are enculturated. We are soaked in a culture of violence that too often pits us against them. In our humanness, we may find our inner resentments, our inner violence can be invisible to our own eyes. Or we can turn that inner violence on ourselves. And the voice in our minds tells us we're not worthy. It tells us that we have completely missed the mark and there is no redeeming anything about us. Both of those ways of violence in the heart and the mind help us to bypass our work of finding inner peace. So I hear the words of this beatitude. Arise and walk forth, you who are pure of heart. Live remembering you are the heart of God. I hear those words and how it weaves with the other beatitudes as a call to stare unflinchingly into my own heart, to pluck the log from my own eye before I point to the splinter in yours, and to do my inner work. I hear these words as a reminder to see both my shine and my shadow, but to see them both with eyes of innocence and childlike wonder, with tender curiosity and self-compassion, and to see your shine and shadow the same way. I hear these words as a reminder that I am commissioned to arise and walk forth. Be pure of heart. Let my eyes be the eyes of love. Let my hands be the hands of love. Let me bring that loving, pure heart to my work in the world. What is mine to do in the face of the world's cruelty? Last week, I shared that line that we will be sent like sheep into the wolves to disarm all that we meet. Disarm all that we meet with non-violence showing up. But the showing up is part of it. What is mine to do to stand up, to speak up, to show up for the poor, for my neighbors, for all that are marginalized, so that justice and mercy and compassion and peace reign now. Now. Let the ongoing revelation of the reign of the God of peace begin now. Today. Arise and walk forth, you who are love, and be love in those ways that are small and tender in our own lives, and in the ways that ask us to show up in the world with loving, nonviolent resistance to the culture of violence in which we are born today, in ways that echo Jesus, the way shower, and how he showed up in his day to continue to inspire us. Let the ongoing revelation of the reign of God of peace begin today. Now, moment by moment, choice by choice, step by step, heart to heart, arise and walk forth. May it be so, and so it is. Amen.